If you were a kid in the 90s, you might remember this show.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
This guy was the host, Kirk Fogg.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Legends of the Hidden Temple, for those who didn't watch it, was an iconic game show out of the 90s by Nickelodeon.
Are you ready, Olmec?
Let's rock.
Barely anybody won. There were 120 shows and like only 30 winners.
Teams, are you ready?
I guess now we can finally get answers to all of our Legends of the Hidden Temple questions.
Who was Olmec?
Yeah, as it turns out, there was a guy standing inside his face.
But he stands back there and he has a microphone here, his copy here, and he has his hand on the lever that handles the mouth. See, I'm gonna ruin it for all the kids. A lot of people ask, who were the temple guards?
Oh, a temple guard!
They were the guys who used to help out during the show. But here's a little behind-the-scenes secret. Occasionally, some of the writers would dress up. I think they vicariously got a thrill out of scaring the crap out of kids going through that temple. I felt bad for a few of them.
But they really did scare the crap out of kids.
This poor girl got really super upset in the middle of the run and she threw up. And unfortunately, she threw up in the pit of despair.
Oh, God.
Everybody asks what was the hardest room, and I think probably for everybody it was the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. These three things look similar together because they're kind of all silver, so you have to kind of stack them on.
Turn it around, no, turn the head around.
I was actually an expert at it.
So yeah, the temple was pretty impossible. Is that the only reason there were so few winners?
The producers were only allowed to give out 8 championships a year, so there was a budget, and that's the truth of that.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Lenny Lipton. This is my dog Belle.
Lenny Lipton is sitting in his living room,
Puff, the magic dragon,
reading something you've probably heard.
lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Lenny wrote what has become the Stoner's anthem
I wrote Puff the Magic Dragon.
when he was a 19-year-old college student.
I was a freshman at Cornell. Belle, can you sit? Thank you, dear. Okay, I was reading a poem by Ogden Nash called Custard the Dragon.
Soon after, he went to meet friends for dinner.
As I was walking down the hill to the apartment, I was thinking about the poem I read, and I thought I'd try to write one too, about a dragon.
He got to his friend's apartment and let himself in.
I saw a typewriter on a kitchen table. And I typed, Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. And although I didn't find out about this for a couple of years, Peter Yarrow, who became the Peter of Peter, Paul, and Mary, was one of the guys who lived in the apartment. He saved the poem. I completely forgot about it. I even left it in the typewriter, and he set it to music. That's how the song got written, and it changed my life.
But Lenny's story doesn't stop there.
I've got something like 72 patents. I invented the way to project 3D movies you're likely to see if you go to the cinemas.
He also invented those awkward glasses you have to wear to see them.
This is Crystallize. This is the first commercial pair of 3D active electronic eyewear.
And everyone from NASA to James Cameron has used them.
NASA on Mars and Cameron underwater.
Lenny's also a filmmaker. He's produced over 25 movies.
It's a Lifetime Achievement Award.
And he's written several books all about, well, film, and one autobiography.
But I don't think it's of interest. My wife read one chapter and she said she didn't want to read it anymore.
Okay, so a book about his life is not his magnum opus. Good thing a song about drugs is, 'cause that's what it's about, right?
If people want to think it's about pot, it's fine with me.
Wait, it's not?
Not as far as I'm concerned. Puff the Magic Dragon is not about drugs. And who knows what I was thinking.
In 1992, Nickelodeon debuted the TV show Guts. It was just like American Gladiator, only the contestants were all kids.
The rocks have tumbled. The smoke is smoking.
And while the show was epic in every way, the theme song is one of those pieces where you start singing it and somebody next to you joins in. So we found the guy who wrote it.
My name is Rick Wachowski, and I am the composer of the Nickelodeon theme song, Guts. Do you have it? Do you have it? Guts.
It takes deep dedication.
When I got the call to do this piece, hip-hop was just coming of age. Immediately, it came to mind, do you have it? Guts. They liked it, and they said, you think you could put a little rap to it? And I said, sure. I'm a Polish guy from West Virginia. I can rap, yeah. It takes a certain kind of something to keep the heart pumping.
Something everybody needs to achieve to succeed. You'll need a lot.
A lot of words.
Do you have it?
They were big on the sound effect stuff and that too. And you can hear me in there go, I sampled myself.
So Rick, he didn't just write the theme song for Guts. He was kind of the 90s jingle guy for Nickelodeon.
Guts was my first show for Nickelodeon. I did some music for the Big Help. I did all the music for Kids' Choice Awards. Figure It Out. The remake of Family Double Dare.
Double Dare 2000!
I did stuff for Nick at Night also. Nick at Night.
Plays for TV here.
Oh, here's a show I forgot to mention. I did the music for a show called Action League Now.
Action League Now, starring the Flesh Piece.
On my bucket list, I'd love to be involved in having a hit record, and I'm still working on that, but I guess, to a degree, like the Guts theme, it's my hit. So I'm pretty happy about that.
There's this amazing picture of my coworker. It's him reading a Ninja Turtles book lying next to a Super Soaker. When the Super Soaker came out, it was a game changer. The slogan, "Wetter is better," was essentially a mantra for kids during summer break. So when I went to Atlanta to interview the guy responsible for all that, I had to show him the photo.
That's funny.
Lonnie Johnson invented the Super Soaker back in 1982. But that is not his only invention.
Well, I have over 100 patents.
Everything from the Nerf gun to a thermoelectric energy converter. He also worked on NASA's Galileo mission to Jupiter and alongside the US military.
The first Super Soaker actually I made in my shop in my basement in the evenings when I would come home from work. And at the time I was actually working on the stealth bomber program back when it was highly classified. And I actually couldn't even tell my wife what I was working on during the daytime. It was that top secret.
The original name for the Super Soaker was the Drencher.
We ran into a challenge regarding the name because another inventor claimed it. So we changed the name to Super Soaker just to avoid having to deal with that.
Super Soaker is definitely a way better name. When he started, Lonnie wasn't trying to create a toy for kids.
I was working on a new type of heat pump that would use water as a working fluid instead of Freon. And I was experimenting with some nozzles that I machined. And I shot a stream of water across the bathroom, and I thought, geez, maybe I should put this hard science stuff aside and work on something fun like a water gun. It still works.
And this brings me back to a previous point. Lonnie Johnson is a super genius scientist. This is his lab. And this is what he's working on now.
Yeah, right now I'm working on advanced battery technology. My goal is to develop a battery that will store about 3 times the energy of a lithium-ion battery.
In comparison, the Super Soaker might not seem as hard science, but it was still a really, really important invention.
It's been win, win, win on Supermarket Sweep.
Supermarket Sweep was an iconic game show in the 90s and early 2000s.
And here is our host, David Ruprecht. Howdy. Hello. Oh, thank you.
But what most people didn't know, all the meat was fake. and all the other food had gone bad. Are you ready to play the game?
Welcome to Supermarket Sweep.
Go, Vicky!
We shot for about 5 months, 6 months every year, and they used the same food over and over again. So by about the third month, the hot dogs had sort of started to ferment in the package, and the package swelled up, and a lot of the food, having been thrown in and out of carts for 3-4 months, had gotten pretty beaten up. And one of the things people always ask me is, do they get to keep the food? And no. And if they didn't win, because there were 3 teams, they got their sweatshirts. Unfortunately, the winning team did not get their sweatshirts. Interestingly enough, they got $5,000, but they didn't get their sweatshirts.
I shouldn't be telling you this. This is a trade secret. Very few people know this, and very few people use this strategy, but those who did, won. Instead of 5 hams and 5 turkeys that load up your cart, you come over here and you get 5 of these hair colorings. And then you get, well, we won't mess with maxi pads. You get 5 of all these expensive health and beauty products with 1 cart. You can beat everybody. Don't tell anybody, it's just between you and me.
What a fantasy to be able to run around, grab your favorite foods, as much of it as you want, and not have to pay for it. This is David Ruprecht saying, next time you're at the checkout stand and you hear the beep, think of all the fun you could have on
Supermarket Sweep!